This is a BladeHQ exclusive. It's a Manix 2 lightweight with M4 steel. The problem is these are pinned together. I thought the new construction was supposed to be screwed together, but this brand new batch that was just shipped out is all pinned. So today what we're going to do is take apart this knife and I'll show you the process. The first thing to do is cover the knife with painter's tape, and then after that with Gorilla Tape. The Gorilla Tape will add protection and the painter's tape will keep all of the glue from getting stuck on the knife. Here's everything covered in blue tape. I've removed the pocket clip. Now I'm going to add the Gorilla Tape on. The Gorilla Tape will provide a lot of protection when I clamp the knife down to the drill press. We don't want to scratch up the plastic. Okay, it's covered in Gorilla Tape, and what I did is I put the Gorilla Tape on 3 layers thick, and what that does, that pads it up to make it about even with the ball cage, so that when we clamp it down on the vise, the ball cage won't be holding the knife up. The knife will sit flat. And then we're going to drill out these 3 rivets. But to drill these out, we're going to use an end mill bit, not the normal drill bit that people would use to do this. What you have to be careful of is you don't want these rivets to spin, because if the drill bit catches these and the rivets spin, you'll heat up the plastic and you can have all sorts of problems. An end mill bit is much better. It's much less likely to catch and spin, but you still have to be careful and watch what you're doing. The key is to go slow. One thing to keep in mind is when this is being clamped, if the drill bit was to catch, look at the direction that the knife would rotate. The drill bit spins this way, so it's going to want to rotate the knife this way. So we'll put a clamp here and a clamp on this side. And that way the bolt that holds the clamp down will help prevent the knife from twisting. And we want to make sure that we clamp on top of the Gorilla Tape. I have to loosen these up a little bit. This uses these triangular blocks that have steps on them, and that's what sets the height of the back of the clamp. And make sure we're not on the pivot and we're not sitting on the ball cage. The ends of the clamp have to be on the duct tape. These don't have to be super tight, but we need to give them a little more than hand tight. You're going to have to go by feel on this one. You don't want to break anything. Make sure everything is secure. Nothing is going to move. This is an 1/8 inch end mill bit. This is what we'll be using to drill out the rivets. This will go down through the head of the rivet and beneath the surface of the plastic body of the knife. There will be a little ring still left on the outside that'll be holding the rivet on, so we'll have to go back with a bit a little bit bigger to finish the job. But this is the one to start with. You'll get most of your drilling done with this without spinning the rivets and without heating anything up. The key here is to get a very precise position. That's what this table will let us do. This is a very small cross-slide vise. These are available on Amazon or eBay. They're about $30. This is going to let you very accurately position the knife and hold it steady for exact drilling. Because you want this absolutely dead center. And let me move you over so you can see a little bit better. See how accurately that can be positioned? And it's held secure. Now we start the process. And it's easy to make a little adjustment if the bit walks a little bit like it did there. That looks good. Drill slowly. Check the progress often. Don't go too fast. See, the rivet started to spin, so I backed off right away, and now I'll go back at it. Making small adjustments as necessary. Light pressure so that the rivet doesn't spin. And you can bounce up and down slightly like this. The rivet spins some. Okay. There the rivet's starting to spin. We got through most of it. I'll have to go to a next size bigger bit and clear out the little bit that's remaining around the outside rim. Okay, before I change to a bigger bit, I want to pick at this and see exactly where I am. Because it almost looks like that little washer that's underneath the rivet is free. There it is. There's the little washer that I just picked out of there that was underneath the head of the rivet. So this one is complete. This is what it looks like after it's been drilled out. You can see that the head of the rivet is gone and the washer that's underneath of it has been removed. Now I'll be able to drive that pin through and out of the handle scales. To drive it through, I'm just going to use the torque spit that I used to remove the pocket clip. And there it is. First rivet is gone. Okay, I'm in position to drill out the second rivet. This one's going to be a little bit more challenging. There's metal inside the knife underneath of this one, so we won't be able to just push it out and drive it through like we did the other one. So the goal here will be to remove the head of the rivet so that we can pry the scales apart, and then we'll move on after that. So right now that's it. We'll just remove the head of the rivet and the washer. Don't try and push this forward rivet through. You will break stuff. you're seeing metal shavings coming up, the rivet is not spinning in the handle. That one worked easy. Okay, we're in position to drill out the last rivet. Go very slow. The top of the head is rounded and you don't want the bit to drift over off center down the side. Just do a little bit, back off and check, and make adjustments on the cross slide vise as necessary. Each time I'm backing off on this one, I can see evidence of the rivets starting to spin. You don't want it to catch and really spin. So you back off and get a fresh bite. On this one, I'm going to have to go to a larger drill bit. The next size end mill bit I have is too big, so I am going to just go to a standard drill bit on this. This one is a 5/32 inch. It's just slightly bigger than the 1/8 inch mill bit. Try and go just a little bit more. Okay, I'm lined up and ready to take just a little bit more off. This one's being stubborn. might be enough to get it out. Yep, that came out. So it just takes a little bit of patience, and you can safely remove the heads of those rivets and get them out without messing the plastic up at all. We'll leave the tape on the blade because we want to be protected from the cutting edge. So we want to take the screws out of the pivot on both sides and remove the screw that held the pocket clip in. There's a washer underneath these. Make sure you don't lose that. We'll start gently prying apart. We have to release this up here. A little bit of remaining metal inside. Pick out. And there it is. There's the scale on the side we drilled out. Not an extra scratch or mark on it. Now you have your cage, your ball, and spring. And carefully remove the blade with the pivot and the washers. We'll put those parts in our dish along with the blade. Now, in order to get this out, sometimes this little figure 8 shaped piece will come off. Sometimes it won't. We got a little bit of mushroom going on. There's a couple ways to go about this. What's left of this pin gets mushroomed a little bit around the edges. You take a hand file and just hit it all the way around, and then this will come off. This metal bar will not come off. We'll have to cut the rivet off flush with the metal bar and grind it smooth, and then we'll be able to push it out. Don't try and drive this out. If you try and drive this out with a punch, you'll end up breaking the scale. Just going to hold this carefully and take this small file and work my way around this rivet. This can be a little bit tedious. Take your time and don't mess anything up. I did a little bit of filing off camera. It was much easier to do when I could set the corner of the scale down on the workbench and have a firm surface to file against. We should be there now. And there it is. Now, in order to get this pin out, you're going to have to take a Dremel and cut it off flush and grind the surface smooth. Then we'll be able to punch that pin out. In order to finish taking the knife apart, we have to cut this pin off flush here with this metal bar. You can't drive it out. I think when they put these rivets in and squash the pins, parts of the pin either get mushroomed a little or bent, and they're too tight. You won't get it out. You'll end up breaking the plastic scale before you get this pin out. So the best thing to do is clamp it in the vise and then take a Dremel tool with a cut-off wheel and get that pin flush. We only put a few scratches on the surface of this, but that won't make any difference. So to get this pin out, you don't want to bang on the plastic, so we're going to try and hold this here and tap lightly. There you go. That's how you remove the pin and get the knife completely apart.